I'm Peter Bradford, and I did serve a term on the Nuclear Regulatory Commission. Nuclear power's safety challenge is that it creates very large quantities of energy. It also creates radioisotopes so dangerous that accidents releasing a significant part of them could kill and harm a lot of people and render a great many square miles of land uninhabitable for a long time. Containing those radioisotopes, as well as preventing the spread of nuclear bombs, is absolutely essential and unavoidably expensive. With nuclear power under relentless cost pressure as a result of the expanding success of clean energy sources lacking such challenges, nuclear cost cutting at the expense of safety is a serious prospect. A catastrophic event would be a disaster for the nation in which it occurred and for nuclear power itself. So the trade-off, stated theoretically, has always been zero tolerance for unacceptable radiological danger, secured by costly engineered safety systems and standards, as required by a conservative and rigorous regulatory presence, professing to issue nuclear safety mandates without regard to their costs. Each of the world's serious nuclear accidents and many of the near misses resulted in part from regulators like the post-World War II U.S. Atomic Energy Commission, prioritizing the economic interests of the nuclear industry to a level equal to or above safety regulation. The U.S. Nuclear Regulatory Commission was created in 1975 by a Congress determined to separate such promotion from safety. After shocking cost overruns and cancellation of partially built plants, new nuclear orders throughout the Western world at the end of the 20th century ceased. Mentions of a nuclear renaissance in the US began soon thereafter with the release of the 2001 Bush-Cheney Energy Plan. Then as now, the renaissance rested on a tripod consisting of multi-billion-dollar subsidy, endless political support, and procedural streamlining of an ill-defined regulatory burden. All three of those supports were delivered, but new reactors, still too expensive, were not. Two reactors 15 years late and costing several times the original Renaissance estimates meant that not a single molecule of carbon was avoided by new U.S. reactors in the first 23 years of the Renaissance. All of the heavy lifting was done by cheaper, cleaner alternatives that were unforeseen in the 2001 plan. With new nuclear plants priced out of power procurement markets throughout the Western world, efforts to reduce costs focus first on improving the efficiency of nuclear power plant operations, and then on regulatory processes such as public participation. Direct reductions in the safety regimen itself were not considered a prudent way to cut costs. While substantial nuclear cost savings have occurred, other energy sources have improved even faster, so nuclear power has remained too expensive to succeed. Further savings are needed, some from reduced safety. Some are imaginary or at best unproven. Proponents of various new reactor designs claim that they are even safer than the existing fleet and will be successful in the marketplace if only the public can be made to pay up front for most of the commercialization costs. This conjecture is paired with the dangerous proposition that these unproven designs will be so much safer than their predecessors that many NRC standards and requirements can be scrapped for them before the first of the new reactors has proved itself by operating for a single minute. Accepting this assertion requires one to believe that the same designs that are so risky that government must conscript their capital are too predictable and safe to require the conservatisms of conventional regulation. Here, the Trump administration has the imagination that its predecessors have lacked. With bipartisan congressional encouragement, the administration has bought into the nonsensical proposition that nuclear power's economic woes are somehow a product of a heavy-handed U.S. safety regimen, despite the fact that the safety regimen was the product of an industry-sensitive regulatory agency whose 20th century commissioners were entirely industry vetted and predominantly appointed by Republican presidents. To solve this non-existent problem, the Trump administration has recombined economic promotion with regulation. As he has done with other agencies whose mission is to protect the public through sound science, comprehensive oversight, and firm enforcement, President Trump has undertaken to hollow out the NRC. Ed Lyman will describe these measures in a moment. The President's 2025 executive orders also forbid the NRC from revisiting risks addressed in reactor approvals that they require from the Department of Energy and the Department of Defense. So the designees of Pete Hegseth may soon be in charge of a slice of the safety culture governing the deployment of future reactors in U.S. communities. A larger slice will develop under Secretary of Energy Chris Wright, who was, until his DOE appointment, on the board of Oklo, one of the companies hoping to build these advanced reactors with taxpayer-financed assistance allocated by his Department of Energy. Given this executive branch domination, one must also note this administration's capacity for misusing regulatory power. The Federal Communications Commission, in particular, offers concrete examples of an NRC-like regulatory agency, now often criticized for bending its powers to political ends. The Trump Media and Technology Company has already announced a merger agreement with TAE Technology, a nuclear fusion company. While the fusion regulatory regimen will be separate from that of fission reactors and may not have much to regulate for many years, the regulatory system put in place by the Trump executive orders leaves few, if any, meaningful safeguards against self-serving favoritism on behalf of Trump friends and family. The Atomic Energy Commission was broken up in 1975 because allowing promotion to Trump regulation led to a series of episodes that were discrediting nuclear power and endangering the public. Japan went through something similar after the Fukushima accident. The US now seems on its way to being the first nation to have to learn this expensive structural set of lessons twice. Period.